I have a confession to make. I've been a bad plant mom. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Obviously I'm not a bad plant mom to this plant, but I've been a bad plant mom to my seeds. So this is my indoor greenhouse update video. And let me explain what I mean when I say I'm a bad plant mom. So I had a really good thing going when I first started the seeds. There were lots of little sprouts. I did an update on Instagram and they were like just popping off. And then I forgot about them for like a week. Didn't really check in on them. And boom, tragedy. Yeah, it was like a little graveyard for sad, fallen soldiers. The first thing that I knew that I had to do was move them. So I moved them up to my room, into my window, where I wouldn't be able to forget about them and they would get a lot more direct sunlight. The other thing I had to do was remove all the plants that were just straight up dead. Trigger warning to anyone who doesn't like to see dead plants. I don't. So upsetting to see all these little baby dead plants on a paper towel. I hated removing these. After I removed all the totally dead plants, I moved on to kind of having to do a little bit of surgery with the plants that were still in good shape. I wanted to make sure that there weren't two plants in any cell. I wanted to make sure they all had their own. This took a long time and I tried to be really careful with it. We only lost a couple along the way, so that's, I mean, a good sign, right? After I had kind of set them up so they were all in their own space, I kept a pretty close eye on them and made sure to be giving them water when they seemed to be drying out a little bit. So during my check-ins, there would still be sometimes ones that weren't making it, that weren't getting enough light, or that just weren't healthy or happy or strong enough to keep going, and I had to just remove those as I went. About 1 week after I had transplanted everything into their own little individual cells, the whole planter seemed to be doing much, much better, thriving from the new location and the water and the attention and really everything. So there were a couple of things that I thought I should mention during this update. One of them being that the chamomile was completely wiped out. There were a few real strong contenders, like just holding on for life, a couple little tiny sprouts, but really in the end I only ended up with one chamomile shoot that is still working on growing. It might die, it might not, but wow, I killed the chamomile. The other interesting thing was with the delphinium seeds. So they started to grow these two little round kind of leaves at first. And then I started to notice another sort of shaped leaf popping out of the stems that at first I thought was like a weed. It turns out it's not a weed. I had to look it up and watch some other people who were starting delphinium seeds, and that's actually just the shape of delphinium leaves, are the second type of leaf that started growing. So it means that they're really healthy and that they're supposed to be growing that way. So now that you guys have heard the update of what all happened while I was gone, I guess you guys are gonna want to see how the plants look now. Let me go get them. They're so healthy! The ones that have survived are doing really, really well. And they're growing really strong and really tall. There's lots of milkweed left. There's lots of basil. It pretty much looks like you could eat the basil right now, but it's gonna get bigger. I love my little plants so much. I'm so proud of them. Yeah, even though we went through a bit of a rough time, we got here. And the next step is hardening them off by bringing them in and out of the house every day to expose them to the sunlight. But that's for another video. And say goodbye to the plants for now. I encourage you to like and subscribe if you liked this video. Leave me a comment telling me how cute my plants are, please. And don't forget to check in for the next update. Thanks guys, bye.